Hello, my name is Masha and today I'm going to show you my updated bracelet collection. We've got quite a few bracelets to go through today, most of them don't even fit on screen. And I also have a giant box filled with bracelets. So if you want to watch any of my previous bracelet collection videos, there is an entire playlist where I show you the contents of this box, split up into multiple videos because obviously I made the bracelets at different times. But let's get started with this bunch of bracelets. None of these are going to be in chronological order, purely because I don't remember the chronological order of these, but I'll show you all of them. We'll start with this bracelet. This is such an autumnal bracelet, obviously. And I really love any kind of seasonal bracelet, like anything that is spring related. I love to do flowers. I like to do fruit and animal stuff for the summer. For autumn, I like to do things like this, and then for winter, anything to do with snow or anything in like bluish colors. So I'm very, very partial to a seasonal pattern. And this is one of the few alpha bracelets that I made recently. I haven't really been making alphas for some reason, but I really love this one. And I think the colors here, they work so well. Like you can properly see the shading of the actual pumpkin. I think I picked out the colors very well here, which doesn't always happen. But I filmed this bracelet for a Not With Me, so you can watch the entire process of me creating this bracelet a little bit sped up, obviously for a time lapse, otherwise it would have been hours and hours. But I'll leave that video linked in the description, along with all the videos that I mentioned and any patterns for any of the bracelets. Everything is going to be linked in the description. What a great one to start off with. Next, we have two bracelets of the same pattern. This is the split fishbone chevron. So it's very similar to the fishbone chevron if you're familiar with that design. The only difference is if you look closely, the rows don't actually match. So if you've got a regular chevron on the left side, on the right side you'll have the dotted version. Whereas if you have the regular chevron on the right side, you'll have the dotted version on the left side. So it's a split version. I really like any kind of pattern that has this kind of weird effect that makes you kind of do a double take to try to figure out what the pattern is actually doing. And for these kinds of patterns, I also really like to choose colors that contrast very well. So I've gone with two different gradients here. We've got kind of a yellow gradient and a blue gradient for this one, and then a pink and a green one for this one. And I think they look really good. As always, I try to finish with triangle ends and twisted ties. I have tutorials for both. And I have a tutorial for this pattern as well. I think it's really fun. And then it's also like a variation of the chevron. So if you're familiar with how to make chevrons in general, there's only a slight difference here for you to memorize and be able to make this bracelet as well. Here I have the double plaid friendship bracelet, which is actually, as of right now, the most recent tutorial that I've posted. This is such a classic friendship bracelet. I made so many of these when I was a kid, and I love the way that it looks. It's so simple, yet so effective. I started it with triangle ends, finished it as well the same way. And I think also what's really cool is you can actually make this with 3 colors. So you've got these strings going in and out, and you can have them be different colors. You can have one of them here be purple and then the other one be a different color because they don't actually have to be the same. And I think that looks really cool as well. But as you can see, I made it in purple. I do like purple. I think the colors work really well in this bracelet. And as I said, there is a tutorial for it. Here we've got another alpha bracelet that I made. This one is the Sparkly Gems Alpha. This pattern was in my to-dos for a really long time, and then I finally sat down to make it. I think I also made this around autumn time. Something about gems kind of reminds me of Halloween, you know, like kind of witchy, having all these gems around. I don't know, I have a lot of gems. I like to collect them. I take a lot of my bracelet pictures on my gems as well. But I think this is a really cute pattern, and I also really like how it turned out. I also like to show you guys kind of the backs of alphas, mainly because people who don't really make bracelets might think that it looks the same on the other side. It doesn't. All the strings have to go somewhere to be able to swap and to be able to look nice on the front side. There are ways of hiding it, obviously. There is the clean back alpha technique, for which I do have a tutorial on how to make your bracelets look the same on both sides. It is a little bit complicated, but it is doable, just not for every single design. And then also you can sew a backing onto your friendship bracelet, which a lot of people do. So it'll be something like felt, or I've seen people do leather as well, like if you want to be really fancy with it, and then just kind of sew it onto the bracelet, but I don't do that. But yeah, I do have a Not With Me video for this as well. If you want to watch me make it, it'll be linked. This one is also an oldie but a goodie, the diamond bracelet. I've also made a tutorial for it. It's actually quite simple to make. It's a diamond. It also kind of gives me like XOXO vibes, because, you know, it kind of reminds me of that pattern, but I just think it's really cute. I'm not sure that I love the colors in this one. I feel like if I chose colors maybe that blended with each other a little bit more, something like more monochrome, I feel like it would have like looked better. But I don't hate it. I do think it looks fine. It's just, you know, in hindsight, maybe I would have done things differently. But yeah, tutorial on this one also exists. Oh, this is a bracelet of mine that I've talked about for some time now. So I did a video a little bit ago where I was trying to match my bracelet to my nails. So I had a manicure that I really liked, and I was going to try to pick the colors that matched my nails and then make a design. I quite like the bracelet. I think the bracelet turned out fine. I don't think I achieved my goal of matching my bracelet to my nails, mainly because my nails at the time had like main colors and then highlight colors, whereas here all of the colors have equal weight, so it doesn't look the same visually. I also think that the light pink and the yellow kind of blend in a bit too much in this bracelet, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I didn't quite achieve what I set out to do, but I do think it's a cute bracelet. And again, the pattern and the video that I'm talking about, everything is linked. Similarly to that bracelet, we also have these three, which are frog-shaped alpha bracelets. I think these are so adorable. I've been eyeing these patterns for so long prior to actually making them, so I'm glad that I finally got around to doing them. And of course, there's like 3 different patterns because they've got 3 slightly different expressions, and this one's blushing, which is adorable. But yeah, these were also to match my nails. In fact, for this one, I kind of went the opposite way. I brought all of my strings, specifically my green strings, because I knew I was going to do something frog related. I brought all my green strings to my nail appointment and we tried to match the nail color to my strings. So we kind of went the other way. But I had some frog nails, and so I made some frog bracelets. I have a tutorial on how to make shaped bracelets. And then of course that video with my nails is also a separate video. So I'll have both of those linked in the description. But these are so cute, and I love how they pop out with their little eyes. It's just adorable. What a cute design. And I did make a little bit more green bracelets than I normally do. Green is not really a color that I go for very frequently in friendship bracelets, but obviously I had a bit of a moment because I went with this one, and I think it looks gorgeous. Like with all of the greens and the teals and the yellow, I think this design works really well. And you've got kind of a zigzag going through across this braid. So yeah, this is the zigzag braid bracelet. I have a tutorial for this one as well. I just really like it. I think it's really, really cute. And I would definitely recommend making it. It's not as difficult as it seems. This is one of my favorite bracelets I've probably ever made, but that's because I love rainbows in bracelets, and this was a specific rainbow thread. Someone had gifted me this rainbow thread years ago, and I made a bracelet out of it originally, but then I kept a bunch of it to make bracelets out of later. And then I forgot it existed, and I was going through my string collection and I found it, and I was like, oh my god, I know the perfect pattern to make this with. And so I used it for this one, and I just love how it turned out. It's just so gorgeous. Honestly, rainbow thread in any kind of pattern would look amazing, but I really love this bracelet. This one I also filmed for a Knot With Me. I called it the Rainbow Thread Bracelet. So there is a Knot With Me linked in the description if you guys want to watch me create this. It's so satisfying. I think that that's what also keeps it interesting for me, to like see how all of the strings come together and how it does end up looking, because when the color of the string changes as you're making the bracelet, you don't really know how it's going to turn out, and it keeps the mystery active while you're making the bracelet. And then also the twisted ties out of it, like they just gorgeous. Definitely love that bracelet for sure. The diamond chevron bracelet is another beautiful one. I love the colors here. They're so like chill. The pastels, they're so relaxing. Very beachy vibes, very just like calm. I think this is a really cool pattern. Obviously you see the chevron here, it goes through the entire design, but then you've got these diamonds that separate it and kind of distort it a little bit. So you have the color start to come in but then get distorted as it goes through. This is a really cool pattern. It's not super difficult to make. I have a tutorial for it that breaks it down into manageable pieces. So if you want to watch that, as everything else, it'll be linked. The helix bracelet is another favorite of mine. It's such a simple pattern that is so effective. I just really love it. And I also went for a kind of rainbow here. It's a bit of more of a muted rainbow, and the white isn't actually white. It's more of a, I don't know, cream color. I just think it goes really well here. And it's so thin, it's so simple because there's only a few strings in it. Also, I love separating the color of the outline with the colors of the bracelet in the twisted ties. I think it looks really fun. I wore this bracelet out so many times. I've started to wear my bracelets out more. I traveled with this one. I traveled across Europe last year, and I took this with me So it's been to many countries with me. But yeah, I made a tutorial for it. It's very thin, so it's quite fast to make as well because it doesn't use that many strings. So if you want to make something quick, definitely recommend this one. This was a really fun bracelet that I made this year as well. This is a mystery bracelet. I started it. I cut the strings for it. I did the loop. I might have even done the teardrop loop. I don't actually remember. Maybe I just cut the strings. But then I forgot what it was and I randomly found this bracelet in my box of strings. And it was a bit of a challenge to actually remember what pattern this was supposed to be, but thankfully I had it in my to-dos, so I ended up searching by the number of strings and the number of colors and it came up. And so yeah, I finished this bracelet. I think it looks really cool. I also really like this pattern. I think I made 3 bracelets with this pattern, all of which were with color changing string. I think the pattern just works really well with that. And it's the same thing that I was telling you about with the rainbow string. I find color changing string so interesting because you never know how it's going to turn out. So it keeps the mystery throughout the entire process of making the bracelet. How is it actually going to look when I finish this? Yeah, I filmed this for And Not With Me as well. So you can watch me create this bracelet if you would like to and just kind of hang out with me and chat. That'll be linked. Here we have the woven rainbow bracelet. This baffled me because there was a moment in another video of mine where I shared a snippet from my book. And someone timestamped it and asked me if I have a tutorial for a specific pattern, a photo of which was in my book. And I went to reply to that comment and I started searching the tutorials that I have on my channel to link this person to that tutorial. And I realized I don't actually have a tutorial for that pattern. And that surprised me because this is one of my favorite patterns and I hadn't made a tutorial for it. That just blew my mind. Do you know what is actually really funny? It usually happens in reverse. Usually I'm searching for a pattern to make a tutorial on. I find one randomly and then I'm like, oh, this would be really cool for me to make a tutorial on. And then I realize that I already have one. Occasionally it happens as I just scroll down on Bracelet Book and I see my own video staring back at me at the bottom attached to it. And I'm just oh, I've been doing this for so many years that I legitimately forgot what tutorials I've made at this point. But yeah, usually it happens the other way where I made a tutorial for a pattern I forgot about, but the fact that I was confident that I had a tutorial for this and I actually didn't blew my mind, so I made one. So now there is a tutorial for this bracelet. And as I said, this is one of my favorite patterns. I think it looks really cool. I think I've made this as a gift for several people. I think one of my viewers, one of you guys actually has a bracelet of mine that I sent to them a while ago. I was giving away my bracelets on Patreon at some point, and that's how that happened. So one of you has one of these of mine. And I've made a bunch of these for my friends. So I've honestly lost count of how many times I made this pattern. I really love it so much. But yeah, the tutorial for this exists now. I did go back and link that person to that tutorial once it was posted, and I'll link you guys to it as well. It's in the description. Some of these bracelets have cat hair in them because I made them while I was in Russia and my cats were there. And I'm actually allergic to cats, which is hilarious because obviously we have cats. It usually goes away, it's fine. I suffer for a few days when I first arrive and then it kind of, mellows out and it's fine. But it is also allergy season in general right now, and I'm allergic to pollen of some sort. And so I pulled out all these bracelets, and I'm already kind of sniffly and sneezy. And these bracelets are making my nose itch because of the cat hair that I keep finding in them. Great stuff. But here we have the double arrowhead bracelet. This one was really cool to make. It's a bit of a bigger one. I've stopped making such big bracelets recently, but I really wanted to try again, so I did. And I filmed this one for a Not With Me. I'll have that linked, but I really like how it looks. I like the colors in it. And I find it interesting as well because usually with arrowheads, you make it this way, from top to bottom here, like this, but then this one is flipped, and so you're making it the other way. I don't know if that made sense, but I've never made an arrowhead in this direction before, so it was an interesting experience. It's not that much different, it's just different, but it was pretty cool. So I'll have this linked as well. And then I also made a collection of ladybug chain bracelets, which are still taped to the card. I tape them to the card so that it's easier for me to hold them whenever I'm taking pictures for the thumbnail or something, but I haven't untaped them because I don't really wear them much, and it just keeps them all together in my collection box. But I do really love these bracelets. I think they turned out really cute. It's stupid of me to continue making collections for bracelets that I make tutorials on, but I sometimes can't stop myself. I just can't choose a color, and then I'm I'm gonna do all of them. So that's what I did for this one. I think it's really cute. The ladybugs are really, really cute. This is very spring themed as well, so it's very perfect for the time. And also, if you change the colors and do like green instead of black at the top and like white instead of black, or maybe just green or maybe just white, it can be a strawberry. I've seen people do that as well. And it's really cute. So I recommend these for sure. And I do have a tutorial for this. Chain bracelets are also like relatively quick to make because obviously you're not making as many knots as you would with a regular bracelet, which is why I decided to make 5 of them, but you know, I just think they're really cute, so I definitely recommend making these. Next we have the zigzag bracelet, which is another absolute classic. I also just think the colors work really well here. I chose a bunch of different pastels, and I think they look really fun. I think it could also look really interesting if it was a gradient, but I wanted to try something different, so here we are. This one is also very thin. It doesn't use that many strings, so it is quite quick to finish. And I do have a tutorial that breaks it down, makes it very simple. It'll be linked as everything else is. Now this one is also a favorite of mine. This is the rainbow zigzag bracelet. There is also a tutorial for this one, of course. And I just love it. As I said, I'm very partial to rainbow. I also think the specific rainbow that I chose for this one is very interesting because it's not the typical colors. It's kind of, I don't know, a little bit different. But I love patterns that have some kind of a weird visual effect going on. And this definitely matches that. And I think it looks really cool on the other side. It kind of has these grooves. I don't know. Gorgeous bracelet. The rainbow hearts are also definitely a favorite of mine. These are also deceptively easy, honestly. Like this is basically, you make it in a shape of a candy stripe and there's only 2 repeating rows. So it's a small variation on the candy stripe. But I think the look that comes with it is so effective. This is another bracelet that I've worn out multiple times and I've gotten many, many compliments on. And I made a tutorial for this one. And next we have my most ambitious collection. There are 8 bracelets in total for this one. And this is another case where I just couldn't stop when I was choosing the colors. I needed them all. And so I made them all. But yeah, this definitely took forever. It also took forever because I was trying to make them at the same time. So I was going like one wave at a time. But you can't tell me they don't look amazing. I honestly have no regrets. These are the Greek wave friendship bracelets. Another absolute classic of a pattern. Yeah, I made 8 of these. I still can't get over that, but there is a tutorial for it. This one is a little bit more complicated just based on the fact that there's just more steps to it. The steps themselves aren't complicated, but the fact that there are more steps makes it more complicated than a different bracelet, if that makes sense. So maybe jump into this if you've made a couple of bracelets before, or if you just feel like you're ready to follow multiple steps of instruction. But there is a tutorial, it'll be linked, and I definitely recommend making this bracelet at some point because, as I said, it's a classic and they look gorgeous. These are also bracelets that I wear out all the time. Like these pretty much never exist within my collection box. They always exist separately because I wear them to death, basically. And this is the Distorted Stripes friendship bracelet. Again, you notice the theme. Like, I do enjoy rainbows, and I do enjoy patterns that have some kind of a weird visual effect going on, and this definitely fits the bill on both of those occasions. And again, this is actually very, very simple to make. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. This is basically just the candy stripe bracelet with very slight variations. So instead of, and this is literally one repeating row, by the way, instead of making just a regular candy stripe, occasionally you make backward knots onto the string that you would normally make forward knots with. So like you have a leading string and then occasionally it gets knots made onto it. I think it's like 3 forward knots, 3 backward knots, 3 forward knots, 3 backward knots, 3 forward knots. So there you go. That's the tutorial. There is an actual tutorial if you want to watch it. It'll be linked, but I also just told you how to make this bracelet. Very simple. Highly recommend it. I think it looks really cool. I love it on both sides, actually. I think it looks amazing. This is another one that I wear all the time and I get many, many compliments on. The gingham friendship bracelet. Oh, I really, really love this one. I just love the pattern itself and I think the colors are really cool here. Actually, fun fact, when I was filming the tutorial, I filmed it with different colors because I started this bracelet with different colors originally, and then as I proceeded and I made more of the bracelet, I realized that actually doesn't really work. And so I made the colors different and I started a different bracelet. Basically, the pink wasn't contrasting well enough, and so I chose a deeper pink so that it did. So if you do make this bracelet, make sure your colors contrast well enough. But yeah, as I said, there is a tutorial for this one. I love it. I just think it's so cute. And this is also one that I wear a bunch. And also, yeah, it looks really cool on the other side as well for this one. We're down to 3 bracelet. I have this one, which is a bit of a weird one because I don't remember making it. I don't remember when I made it. I don't remember what I made it for. I don't think it was a video. I don't remember what pattern this is. And I don't remember if I've shown it before, but I saw it and I don't think I've shown it before, so I'm showing it to you here. I don't love this one. I don't think the colors work really well. I think the colors looked really cool all together as I was cutting the strings, but in the pattern itself, I don't think it works. Not my favorite. So bracelets like that do exist. I feel like whenever I film any kind of like wrap up or collection video, whatever, I always say that like, oh, I love this bracelet. But when I say that, that's true because this one I don't love. I think this one is weird. So moving on, we've got this bracelet as well. This is a bracelet that I made after a really long break where I hadn't made any bracelets in months. And at the time I was in Moscow and I didn't have my strings with me. And so instead of, you know, going out and buying more string, which I didn't want to do, I just kind of looked into my drawers and saw if I had any kind of leftover string from the previous times I've been there. And I did. And this is the bracelet that came of that. I kind of came up with a color combination and then I looked at my to-dos to try to find a pattern that would match the amount of colors that I had. And so here we are. This is the bracelet that was a result of that. I filmed this one for a Not With Me and I kind of chatted through, you know, my slump, really. I just kind of had a bit of a bracelet slump. So I chatted through a bunch of that. And it was really great to connect with you guys in the comments. I do enjoy my Not With Me's because of that. It's like a moment for us to kind of hang out, chat about something, and then I hang out with you in the comments. So thank you for joining me. And that is it. Those are all of the bracelets that I have to show you guys today. I actually didn't realize how many there were going to be. I was looking through my collection to try and figure out which bracelets I've filmed a video on already and which ones I haven't included in a video. I need to start keeping track of that better, but it is what it is. And I realized that there was actually quite a few. Obviously, I guess I filmed the previous one over a year ago at this point, so there would be quite a few, but I have been making less bracelets recently. Life has been getting really busy and I've just been making less bracelets, so I didn't think there would be quite so many. All of the tutorials and videos that I mentioned for these bracelets and all of the patterns for them are going to be linked in the description. The other collection videos with all of the other bracelets within my giant box of bracelets is also going to be linked in the description if you want to watch more of this. I think that these videos are really cool to kind of just, for me, to reminisce a little bit and show you guys like all the different bracelets that I've been making, but for you guys to also maybe find a pattern that you enjoy and also maybe want to make. So if you do get inspired and if you do make a bracelet based on this video, then definitely share it with me. I would love to see that. I think that that's really, really cool. But yeah, otherwise I hope you enjoyed today's video. My book, The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, is available anywhere you typically buy books and anywhere in the world. It is a photo tutorial book aimed at beginners, but it also takes you all the way to the more advanced stuff. There is a link in the description if you want to get it directly from my publisher. They can also help you out if you live in a country and you're not quite sure how to get it. You can reach out to them and they should be able to assist you with that. I also want to give a special shout out to my patrons and especially my top supporters. It is with their support that I can continue making videos on this channel and I really appreciate it. If you also want to become the patron and support the work that I do here, the link to that is in the description. But in any case, I really hope you enjoyed today's video and I will see you in my next one. Bye!